Guys, what is the crack? Crypto with Dinny, and it's Dinny here. So I'm just back from the Digital Trust Europe event where I was presenting and moderating a panel, and we're talking about crypto scams or crypto fraud, and it's the dark side of crypto. A couple of things to note though. I suppose I'll just give it a second. We'll let Facebook notify people, Instagram or YouTube that we're on, and give you a chance to do your daily exercise. Hit the like button, get your daily exercise in, give a nice little like. Beware of the scammers in the comments. We're going to be talking about how these elaborate scams take place, and sometimes they're not so elaborate, but people are falling for them. There's been billions lost in scams around the world. There was a ranking done recently, and North Korea is the highest, but the UK and America are also within the top 5, and Ireland featured down in 30th odd place. But in reality, it's much harder to vet this stuff, and it's much harder to quantify it, because most of these scams go unreported. There's nowhere for people to report them, so a lot of them, aren't documented. But I want to talk to you today about a couple of ways that you can get scammed through cryptocurrency, okay, through Bitcoin. And it's not that Bitcoin is the scam. It's just like Bitcoin is the vehicle that's used. Now, we have to say that in financial markets like legacy system or existing system, it's estimated between 3 and 5% of all the money that's moved in our legacy system is moved fraudulently, okay? So vast sums of money, much more. Crypto will have this reputation, pushed of course by mainstream media, which I jokingly say keep people poor for decades, but crypto has this reputation as being scammy. But when we look at the volumes, the vast majority is happening through our existing financial system, and we can see that banks factor that in to their business models, that they factor in that they will be paying hundreds of millions in fines every year. In crypto, from the data, because crypto is very transparent, everything is on a blockchain, it's a permanent, immutable record, so it'll be a very poor place to do fraud because there's a permanent record that nobody can change. In the existing system, a centralized system, it can be quite easy to change a database, okay, and undo something or redo something. But that can't happen on blockchain. That's the whole beauty of blockchain. But within the whole crypto ecosystem, it's estimated at 0.15% of transactions in the crypto ecosystem, which are minuscule compared to the legacy system, are for fraudulent purposes. So there's a couple of ways that frauds take place within crypto, and most of all, it's stuff that in hindsight you're almost embarrassed when it happens to you. And unfortunately, in Crypto with Dinny, I have an inbox, and almost every week I've got a horror story where someone has exposed their life savings to a scammer and they're not getting it back. You see, I think it's going to take education. You see, crypto is this hugely powerful technology, okay? With Bitcoin, we're able to move value instantly and for free, okay? And we're able to do a permissionless knee. Is that a word? Permissionlessly. So we're able to do it without permission. But without permission means without consumer protection. With Bitcoin, the invention was we can have cash finality, okay? We can have cash finality on the Bitcoin native chain within 10 minutes, I suppose, okay? And it's pretty much for free. We can have it as well by using Lightning, and we can have it instant on Lightning. Right, but the problem with that is that you can click on the wrong button and give away your life savings, and there's no way of undoing it, because this is cash in the digital world. That's what this is, okay? So there's no intermediaries, there's no way of undoing a transaction. That's the beauty of Bitcoin, but it's also the dangers of it, that most people who aren't educated in the space don't realize the vulnerabilities of this technology. And it's so powerful, and it's out of the box, and it's in the world now. Like, I do feel that on a national level, our governments have an obligation to educate people about this, because you can give away your life savings very easy, and lots of people are doing this, and it's not going to change, and pretty much it's going to be very difficult to do anything about it. Okay, so what does cash finality means? It's like if I'm in the physical world and I hand someone 50 euros and they take it out of my hand, well, that transaction is done, it's final. However, if I'm chatting to you and you're saying, Dinny, Revolut me the money, and I Revolut you 50 euros, that 50 euros doesn't, although it shows up in your phone instantly, there hasn't been cash finality, okay? Revolut are basically just keeping count of their ledger, and they're just saying, take 50 from Dinny, give it to whoever it is there, okay? But we don't have cash finality, all right? It might be settled at the end of the day, the end of the week, or the end of the month between these huge institutions. And what that means is, because the value hasn't really moved, okay, it can be undone, all right? It's just that one company is basically fronting the value moving, but really in reality, nothing has moved. Only a ledger was changed within their system. Versus with Bitcoin, we can actually have cash finality. So if you say to me, Dinny, send me 50 quid over the Bitcoin network, I send you 50 quid, it's done. You have the money, there's cash finality, there's no intermediary part of the transaction, and there's no way of undoing the transaction once I've sent you the Bitcoin. And therein lies the problem, that when people are scammed through Bitcoin, it's impossible to undo it. Okay? Now at small scale crime, it's fine. At larger scale crime, FBI say they love when crime is done on Bitcoin, because it's easier to track, because there's a permanent mutable record, okay? And the Bitcoin eventually has to come to the fiat system to be spent, and you can sort of follow the Bitcoin around, okay? Or you can black mark a wallet address, which does give questions about fungibility, etc., but we won't go down that route. So how do these frauds take place? Don't forget to share this video with any new people, just to help bring them up to speed, okay? 1, crypto assets are super dangerous in that if you don't know what you're doing, there's no way of undoing any mistakes, okay? So it's all on you. With Bitcoin, it's all about self-responsibility. It was built on libertarian fundamentals of like smaller governments, leave me alone, don't force yourself onto me, just let me get by with minimum involvement. You know, so that is the ethos of how these digital assets came about. And now what we have is, we have them bumping up against regulation when they were built to, like, Bitcoin in its nature was built to separate money from state. But now we have state attempting to regulate them. And I suppose it does need regulation. How much regulation we're able to put on it, obviously you can't regulate Bitcoin, the network. You can only regulate the centralized exchanges where we go from crypto assets back to fiat assets or euros or whatever. But how these scams take place is, 1, you guys have probably all experienced it if you follow Crypto With Dinny. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll be guaranteed that I'll follow you back, okay? But it won't be actually me who's following you back. It'll be someone who's impersonating my profile, stole all my screenshotted all my pictures, and now is messaging you, and you think you're talking to me, and I don't know think you're talking to me, but you think you're talking to me, and I'm offering you an opportunity, okay? I'm going to trade for you. I've got a new project I want you to invest in. I've got some mining stuff that I have too much of and I want to give you. All right, but it's the same old rhetoric of scams. It's always an amazing opportunity, and it's always time sensitive. And that's to get you not to think rationally, but to cloud your judgment, okay, with promises of easy money or fast money. Now, the unfortunate side of this is, any of us with any experience know that there's no such thing as easy, fast money. Some people have to learn that lesson over and over and over in life again. Okay, but there's no such thing as, if you send me 1 Bitcoin, I'm going to send you 2 back. Like, you don't understand what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is this scarce, hard money. You can't create them out of fresh air. It takes work. The only way you can create Bitcoin is by doing work. Either by doing work through mining, or doing work by adding value that someone will pay you Bitcoin, or that your job will pay you euros and you can go and buy Bitcoin. Okay, but there's always an amazing offer. So it's an offer to trade your crypto for you. And again, it's like, send your money to someone else. And it's very easy. You'll be shown a website, okay? A website, all right? And you can see your money on it, and you can see it's traded. Your 1 grand is now worth 20 grand or 50 grand, or your 200 euros or your 10 euros is now worth 500 euros. So it's like, okay, we'll put some more in. Jesus, this is working amazing. And also a lot of these scams will give you back, you know, they will give you a withdrawal just to lure you in. Of go, yeah, you put in 200, you trade it up to 1,000, there's 1,000 back to you. And you're like, holy God, I made 900 quid there in a half an hour. I'm going to send that 1,000 back, plus another 2,000. In fact, feck it, I'll send 20 grand. And that's the one that doesn't come back, okay? So know that you're being fished, know that you're being lured in, know that you're being tricked. Most of you guys will be savvy to this, but it's more your parents you need to protect. It's more newer people who are coming into the space that we need to protect. Okay, another great scam is competitions, okay? We're running a competition or an airdrop. And you know, send us 0.5 of an Ethereum to get 1 Ethereum back, or something that when you actually break it down, it's like, that doesn't make sense. Why would anyone do that? Well, I suppose you can't argue that point. You can be like, oh, maybe Crypto with Dinny is doing a great giveaway, and generally it's going to be something big like Binance or a Coinbase, but it's very easy to replicate these sites or to get an email that you think is from PayPal. You know, we see this all the time with PayPal. We see this all the time with Amazon, but it's not really from Amazon or it's not really from PayPal. So you have to be aware of this stuff within crypto because people just don't understand it. They don't understand the do's and don'ts. Manipulation of media is another one, okay? You know, anything that you pretty much see online, it's very difficult to prove, is it true or isn't it? And that is one of the problems of online, okay? And the media that we see online is that, especially in crypto media, it's all just done in cycles. It's manipulated by a couple of entities and they drive the narrative of whatever it is. Romance scams are another one, okay? Where you've gotten romantically involved with someone online, you've never met them, but they've built up a relationship and now they're giving you crypto advice, or they want you to help send them a few bob through crypto. It's really bad to do this. If you're going to do that, you're better off using fiat rails because you have consumer protection. Within crypto, you don't have consumer protection. So there's no way of undoing this stuff. Sort of Telegram is rife with scams. YouTube, like if you watch any crypto related YouTube channel, you'll notice that during the videos, at the end of the videos, there's some giveaway. Michael Saylor's giving away Bitcoin because he has too many of them, or, you know, whatever it is. Solana are doing a special offer where they're giving away, you know, and it's when you're in the space for a while, you become immune to it. But when you're new, you're sucked in and you're like, oh my God, what an offer. This is amazing. So you have to be aware. You have to understand that these digital assets, the amazing thing, the breakthrough technology of blockchain was to have cash finality, instantly and free, without any counterparties. That's the amazing thing, okay? But with great power comes great responsibility, okay? And you don't have consumer protections built around that, and therefore we've now opened up a world of scams, whereas they used to have to come to your door and tell you they were going to fix your gutters or fix your roof, but then they wouldn't really do anything and you'd have lost your few bob. But now you can literally be attacked by gangs anywhere in the world who specialize in this stuff, okay? And who have amazing opportunities and amazing websites and apps that look legitimate and suck you in. And someone actually mentioned rug pulls. Like, rug pulls are a scam, and that's just where you get involved in a crypto project, okay? And you're promised it's doing great things, and then suddenly the token goes to zero. And again, that's just another way of, anyone can spin up a token, anyone can spin up an idea and market it and get some suckers to buy it. And that's the unfortunate side effect. The safest, for me, best way to avoid scams is to understand Bitcoin, forget all the noise, stop trying to get rich quick. If Bitcoin will give you generational wealth in a decade, would that be worth it? I think it would. You know, touch wood, I'll be here in a decade, and it's not that long. Time's going to pass either way. Anytime we try and get rich, we just get poorer because it doesn't work. So how about we just, you know, take a small allocation into Bitcoin, or as big an allocation as you see fit, and just protect those Bitcoins and keep them, because everyone's trying to scam them off you. And as we go on in this decade and Bitcoin becomes scarcer and scarcer, more and more people are going to want it. And your Bitcoin's going to be more and more valuable, and more people are going to try and scam it off your hands. And the safest thing you can do is just to hold your Bitcoin and keep your Bitcoin safe. And forget about it, okay? Because if we are investors, we're thinking in the future, we're not thinking tomorrow. We're not interested in tomorrow. We're not interested in next week or next year. You know, investors think in decades, I think. And for me, that's how I think. That any Bitcoin I'm buying today is almost like a pension plan for me. It's something that isn't a get rich quick. It's more just a long-term hold. And as I say to you, if you're not prepared to hold a Bitcoin for 4 years, you're probably better off not touching Bitcoin, and certainly not touching crypto, because crypto being much more volatile and much higher risk, at least with Bitcoin, you can buy at any stage during a 4-year cycle. And if you're prepared to hold it for 4 years, in the history of Bitcoin, anyone who's held Bitcoin for 4 years has increased their purchasing power. So beware, don't get scammed, slow down. There's never any instance where you're forced into making fast decisions, okay, or promised amazing returns, or have to give your money to someone else so they'll give you back more. You know, it's basic red flags in any industry, but certainly within crypto, you don't have the protection that if you do fall for it, it can't be undone. There's no helpline to ring, and your funds are gone forever. Someone else has them forever, and that's a problem. So beware, don't get scammed. Get educated instead and stack sats and hodl. Not financial advice, that's just what I do. Guys, have a super day. Keep them in a cold wallet, James says. Yeah, you're dead right. Dinny out.